Hey guys, so it's Marcus again. So I decided to change up the location again. So I'm in a different room of the house, and for my third artifact, I'm going to be talking about report cards. Well, I guess this artifact that I chosen, the task I had was to make different report cards for different hobbies and things that people did. So in this task, I was given selections, which were some basic hobbies like sleep, physical activity, sedentary behaviors, active play, active transportation, and I think there may be one more in here, if I can find it. Yeah, build environment. So basically, I was given the task of grading these, giving some points on what I thought, and then also giving a reason for my grading. So, in this task, you basically kind of feel like this is you in a way, because this has to do with teens and kids and adults and things like that. So any age this can affect. So I'm going to give a quick brief description of my first one that I had here, and it is active transportation. So before I say what I have on here, I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. So active transportation is something that I don't think a lot of people do, because like we all have cars now, and well, a bunch of people have cars, and like there's other transportations like a bus. So like even if you don't use your car, you can still use the bus. And not really many people really want to ride a bike when they can just drive, I guess. So that's probably one of the reasons. And I just feel like it's not something a lot of people really do. So here's some of the points that I said about it. So I said, kids often get rides from parents, which make them less likely to walk to school or to a friend's house or to a store, etc. Parents try to drive their kids everywhere, and this can lead to them not wanting to walk places. So yeah, that's kind of true. So like if your parent drives you everywhere, you're not really gonna want to walk to like the store if your parent like drove you like a bunch of times, or like to your friend's house when your parents drive you all the time, or to school when your parents drive you all the time. Like who's really gonna want to walk after the parents drive them all the time? It's like just drive me. Like why would I want to walk? Exactly. So this even me, like why would I want to walk if my parents are gonna drive me? Like, so that's so true. And then also this can lead to kids using a bus or being picked up then walking. Yeah, so that's, yeah, if they don't get a ride from their parents, then they could probably just take the bus, and they're still not going to walk to school because they can just take the bus. And it's like, why am I going to want to walk again when I could just take the bus? Yeah. And the same, like, even if they're getting picked up and then walking, like, they're still being picked up. Yeah. So, yeah. So, walking, and then I also said some good points. Walking is better for kids later on because it helps them stay active. Like, true. If they get into the habit of walking everywhere, then they're really gonna stay walking instead of, like maybe they'll take a drive, like, every 2 days, and, like, for the rest of the days a walk, or, like, a week that can, like, take a drive, and then, like, the next week, like, they go back to walking and everything, like, yeah. And I also said staying active can keep kids much more healthier. Yeah, so that's true. So the reason I gave this a D is because this is what I said. So I put everything together and I made a whole reason out of it. So I said, most parents drive their kids everywhere, which can lead to them walking less and less and less, and this can make kids less active and more likely to not want to walk at all ever. So that's really true. If your parents are going to drive you all the time and like basically drives you everywhere you want to go, you're not really going to want to walk anywhere, and it's just going to lead to you not being active at all. So that's for active transportation. Oh, yes. And I gave this a D+, because I think it deserves a plus, because some kids, they get into the routine, they do want to walk, but like most kids or teens, they're not really going to want to walk, so I gave this a D+. So that's pretty bad. So another one I have here, I probably won't read all of them, but I'll read like a few of them. So another big one is sleep. So, sleep is something everyone needs, but not everyone gets. And, like, this can be due to, like, kids having, like, to do homework, or having to work, or having to do other things like that, and they're not really gonna want to sleep, or when they finally can get to sleep, it's like late, so they don't get any sleep, or they just like don't want to sleep because they don't feel tired, and then they have to get up, so they never really have any sleep at all. So some points that I said about this is teens are more likely to pay attention during school if they get good night's sleeps. Teens are found to not get a good night's sleep due to the fact that most teenagers don't feel tired until around 10 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. So this is true. I don't really feel tired until around 10. So like going to bed at like 8 or 9 like isn't really an option because I can't fall asleep until then, and then sometimes I work, and then sometimes I have homework, but like I usually finish my homework before that, but I still like, even if I have everything done and I don't have to work, I don't feel tired until 10. So it's kind of like true, like I won't fall asleep, and then I wake up at 6. Not even 6 all the time. Like sometimes I wake up at like 5 to like make breakfast, and like I'll still feel tired, but like I'm not getting enough sleep. And like yeah, so I wake up at 5 to like eat breakfast and have a shower and things like that. So I'm not really getting enough sleep really at all. And I also said most teens also have other things to focus on, such as work, extracurricular activities, as well as many more things to try to focus on, which can be stressful and cause loss of sleep. Also said, this is some good points or some things that you should know. Teens should have at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night to be fully rested and ready to start the next day. Teens should try to focus on one thing at a time. So the reason that I have, or I said I gave this a C+, and the reason and this is the reason for that. So most teens try and get a good night's sleep, but with stress of all the things they have to juggle, it can be with all the things they have to juggle, it can be difficult to have the rest they need. So most teens get below 8 to 9 hours of sleep and around 4 to 5 a night. So that's what I gave for sleep. That's the grade I gave for sleep, was a C+, and that's basically why, because like they get sleep but they don't get enough sleep. So yeah. So now I'm going to talk about another one. So let's see. We're going to talk about, where's a good one here? Let me check. Physical activity and participation. This one's a biggie. So, okay. So, physical activity and participation. So, physical activity and participation. So basically, physical activity and participation is something that it's basically like active transportation. Like most teens don't really get it, like, you know, or most kids don't really get it, and yeah. So here's some points that I gave for it. So teens tend to spend time on their phones and indoors watching TV or movies. Teens also go hang out with friends and go to their friend's house and play video games or go shopping. Most teens can be overwhelmed with school, and this can cause them to stress, which can lead to depression, which make them less likely to want to leave their room or eat or sleep. So yeah, and teens should try it and go out and walk or even go for a ride for an hour or more. Teens should try to focus on doing their work early to not have to stress over it. So and all in all, most teens are just way too busy to even want to do that, or most kids are too busy to want to even do that, and they have, but like, think other things are more important. Like with all the school, they never really have time, or with work, they don't really have time to do anything like that. So they just don't feel the need to want to. So for this, I gave it a D+ because it wasn't really something that anyone really did, and it wasn't something big that they could something big, but not a lot of people wanted to do it. So for my reason, I said most teens are not physically active and don't participate in sports and such because they are too busy with either work or hanging out with friends, which can lead to less time to be productive and active. So the reason I picked this is because I got perfect on it, which is really good, and it was fun to do as well, and it helped me learn about me and like learn about others and things and why things are the way they are, and basically all the things. So now I'm going to give you a quick little show of it. So yeah, as you can see, I gave this a D+. Well, not like this assignment, but I gave this one a D+. And this is basically what I said about it, my reason, all this. And I have a bunch of them. I did 6 of them, I'm pretty sure. So I did active transportation. Here's another one about sleep. Here's one about the act of play. And here's one about student sedentary behavior. So, I hope you guys enjoyed learning about my third artifact, which was, if I didn't say before, it was report cards. And yeah, bye guys. See you in the next one. Hey guys, so I'm back. And before I start off this video, or before I start off this session with my fourth artifact, I forgot to mention what my third artifact was about. And it's about, the unit's basically about physical activity as well, going more into more depth with physical activity. So, if anyone was wondering and I didn't say it before, that's what it's about. So, now we're going to be moving on to my next unit, which mainly focuses on anatomy. So, anatomy in many things, one being the structure of the bones and muscles, one being, basically going on to the bones and muscle structures and functions and all those insertions and actions, all those that focus on it. So, for my fourth artifact, I have chosen what's called an anatomy tool. So, in this course, we learn mainly about the bones and muscles and where they're inserted, how they work, what's their name, all those. And during this, we did something called, if I can remember, it was like basically a test, but you could study for it, but it was basically like a digital test. So you'd have a paper, and you'd see things on the screen, and it'd be like, what's the function of this muscle? And you'd have like 45 seconds to write it down. Then it'd go to the next question. And it'd repeat that for 30 questions, I'm pretty sure. And then it'd be done, and you hand it in, and that's basically it. So, the first one I did was really hard because I didn't understand anything. Like, I didn't understand where the bones were and where the muscles were and all that. So, it was really hard for me to understand, like, how they work and, like, what's their function and, like, all that. So, I decided to make an anatomy tool that helped me the most. So bones were pretty easy for me, but when we got to muscles, they weren't as easy. They got harder because there was so much you had to remember, and you so little time because your next I remember what it was, a bell ringer. It was called a bell ringer. Your next bell ringer was soon, and I had to remember it, and then I remember that there's another one based on everything, so it's gonna be based on the first one with bones and the next with muscles put together, and there's just so much to remember. So to make it easier for myself, I made an anatomy tool that focused on the muscles that helped me memorize more, and I did better on my next anatomy quiz that had to do with muscles because I had this to help me. And when I went in there, I'm just I know this goes here, and even if I didn't get them all right, I still had more knowledge knowing where things were, so I knew how to do it easier. So I'm gonna give it a little brief depth of it and description, and then I'll show you guys in a second. So basically, it's still windy outside, by the way. So basically, there's 3 different parts of the muscles, and one is the skeletal muscles, the cardiac muscles, and the smooth muscles. And the skeletal muscles focus on the bones attached to your muscles. So any bones your fingers, your toes, your head, your skull, arms, legs, all those. Smooth muscles focus on the muscles around your organs. And then the cardiac muscle focuses on your heart. So in here I have a few things for different muscles. I have a description of what it is, so I know when the picture comes up on the screen of maybe this muscle, I'll be okay, I know what that one is. I have this description. Does it match the description? Yep. Okay. So then that's the muscle that it's for. Oh, it's really windy outside. So yeah. So knowing that, it's easier for me to be able to know what it is and go, boom, that's that. Perfect. So I'm gonna give you a quick little look of it because it's getting a little windy outside. So before it gets too windy where I can't show you, I'll show you a little description of it. so this is basically it. So it has muscles, and it has the description for them with the name of what it is, and I have little things to connect it to each part, so I know what is what. And over here I have types of muscles, and then where they insert, what connects to what, and which muscles go with it. So this, as you can see, the skeletal muscles have more information on them because there's more to remember, and the other muscles do not, because there's not as much to remember. All you have to remember for cardiac is that cardiac focuses on your heart, where smooth focuses on your on your organs, and skeletal focuses on your bones. So just remember it as I'd say OHB, I guess. OHB, which would mean organs, heart, bones. Oh, organs, heart, bones. That's how I remember it. OHB. So, the reason I picked this, as I said before, is because it's a really great tool to use, and it helps you remember anything that you don't really know or can't remember in the moment. And it helped me study a lot, and my teacher approved of it and was like, did this help you? And I'm like, yep, it helped me. And like, how did it help you? And I told him, like, this is how it helped me, this is what it did for me, and this is how I used it, and it was great. And that's basically why I chose this. And I know that this can help a lot of people, because it's something that really great to use for anyone who needs something to use to help them. Like, you can even use this in like another subject. If you can't remember something, just make a tool. Like, you can call, like, if it's in math, it can be your mathematics tool or your science tool, chemistry tool to help you. And it'll help you, and it'll probably make you less tense, because you'll like know more information than you did before. And that's probably all I have to say about it. As I said before, this unit focused on anatomy, and that's pretty much it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about this anatomy tool and how this artifact helped me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. So, bye!